had a dry spell, guys. My last date was on July 1st, which turned out to go south real quick. But this weekend I am having 3 dates. I'm actually leaving Dallas, where the last couple of days I moved my son back into his place for the new school year, which he begins on Monday. And this morning for brunch, Clay drove all the way down from Oklahoma City to meet me. Clay and I, we connected. He was probably one of the first people with whom I connected the first time I ever tried Match.com, which was by my son's coaxing. That was the summer he was leaving for college. We sat down and he helped set up my profile. So Clay, we have been friends for 3.5 years now. No, 3 years this month. And we'd never met, but we had on and off sporadically and some consistency been keeping up with each other. Oklahoma City is quite a ways from Austin, so I'm not sure. I don't want to sell my house, and I know he definitely doesn't want to sell his ranch up there. So, you know, it was great meeting him, and so handsome, so much better looking in person. And when I called him cowboy, he says, "I'm not a cowboy, I'm a farm boy." And I said, "Dear, yeah, you are." Dusty and all, he looked great, by the way. So we spent about 2.5 hours drinking coffee and sharing stories and just talking. It was great. Finally meeting Clay. But I just don't know. Only time will tell whether he and I will ever see each other again. We'll definitely talk on the phone. We'll text each other. Blah, blah, blah. But whether we'll meet again, I don't know. It was nice, though. So thank you, Clay, for listening. And I appreciate you. And it was great meeting you. Tonight at 7:30, I am meeting Craig in Temple. Yes, if you're wondering whether I will be wearing this and no makeup, as I've been a bit tired, the answer is no. I have a friend, Jessica. She lives in Temple. She said I could stop by her house and change and freshen up. Of course, I'm not going to meet Craig for dinner looking like this. Craig and I had our first date back in March. One weekend I was driving to see my son in Denton. It was nice. It was nice meeting Craig. We hadn't seen each other again, but he just sort of randomly reached out during the week, and I thought, oh, it's funny because I'll be going to Denton at the end of this week. And he says, why don't we meet? I said, yes, let's do it. So tonight I'm meeting Craig. I'm seeing him for the second time for dinner, so I'm looking forward to that. He's a nice guy, really nice guy. Been divorced a while. His kids are all grown, and however, he lives in Temple, which is about 80 miles from Austin. So again, there's the distance. Clay and I have, well, Austin and Oklahoma City, and Craig and I, Austin and Temple. So it's closer than Oklahoma City. However, it's not next door or closer. And tomorrow morning, I am meeting Dean for the first time. He's driving from College Station to Austin. We'll be having brunch, which if you didn't know by now, I love brunch. I love food and I love good coffee. So I'm looking forward to meeting him. That will be our first meeting. We connected on one of the apps. Yes, I am back on 4 apps. And before I forget, for you folks who are contemplating, who are on the fence about subscribing to a dating app, I would suggest try Facebook Dating. It's free. You can meet friends on there. You can set your preferences, whether, just answer the questions. Some people there want to be friends. You can either accept or decline, but it is free and you can message immediately. You pay nothing to join Facebook dating. So if you are considering, try it, you guys, try it. I've met a lot of nice men on Facebook dating. Clearly, none of them have been a good match for me. Although my mother says that that's not true, that I have met a lot of good men, but I find something that's not to my liking, and so I turn them away. Anyway, she has not been at all supportive. Oh, I'm lowering the phone because I see a popo. Yeah. Anyway, Facebook dating, you pay $0. It costs nothing. Give it a try. Dean and I, we met on Match.com, which of course you pay a little bit. I mean, it's worth it because you could find your soulmate. I've had friends while I was teaching meet two ladies, met their present husbands on Match.com, and I'm happy for them. If they can find love and happiness, that's what I want. Guys, I know in my previous videos I said that I was no longer interested in subscribing to dating apps and putting myself out there through that medium, but you know what? I decided that I was not helping myself. My son just went back to school. We had a great summer, but now I'm back alone. Yes, I have a great life. I have a wonderful job that I absolutely adore. I'm healthy. I have my home. My life is great. My life is great. However, this year I'll be turning 57, and I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone anymore. I've been alone for 5 years. Yes, I've had dates. I've had hundreds of first dates. I'm telling you that I have hundreds. When I say hundreds of first dates, since August of 2022, I have had hundreds of first dates. Okay. So, I'm tired of having first dates. I want to meet someone. I don't want to be alone the rest of my life. I do not. My parents celebrated their 57th wedding anniversary. 57th. I hope and pray that they celebrate their 70th wedding anniversary. But I'll never have that. I'll never have that. And it's beautiful to see them now that they're getting older. Of course, they've both changed, but I see them laughing more. And when I walk in on them, when I'm at their home and I say, hey, what's so funny? Oh, my dad says, oh, it's a private joke. And I enjoy seeing them happy and laughing and giggling and sharing private moments. And I want that. I do want that. Yes, dating is hard. I know it takes effort. It takes effort. I have to leave my home. Well, first I have to prep myself and look pretty, fix my hair, apply makeup, find a nice dress. Yes, I have to put effort. But I want a partner. I want to be married again. I do. I want to be married again. And I know that at home, reading books, working in the garden is not going to bring me a man. My goodness gracious. Gosh. Sitting at home, twiddling my thumbs, baking bread or muffins or making jam or cooking or cleaning is not going to bring me a man. So what am I going to do? Put myself out there. If I don't help myself, how will the universe help me, right? You guys that have been single for a long time. I've been divorced for 13 years, and in 13 years I've had one relationship. You guys know the story. I won't rehash that. That relationship lasted 2 years. So in 13 years I've had 1 2-year relationship. I want someone. I want to find my person. I want to find my life partner. I want to be married again. I want to take care of someone and nurture someone. And I know it's a give and take. And it takes work and effort and patience. But most of all, consistency. Consistency. I've only been back on the apps shortly after my last date, which was July 1st. So the first week of July, I want to say the weekend of July 4th is when I jumped back on two apps, and then I added a third one, and then I proactively changed my profile photos from Facebook dating, and so that's where I've also made some connections, but it's fine. I'm going to keep trying. You guys should keep trying. You see, it takes effort and energy to have 3 dates in one weekend, but am I going to do it? Heck yes, because if Clay, Craig, or Dean don't work out, there will be another opportunity, and another. Oh, did I tell you guys about Dean? I can't remember. I'm trying to drive. Traffic is getting a little bit congested. I think it's about to rain. Dean has been so consistent in calling me. We decided that 7 p.m. is a good time for each of us during the week. And guess what? 7 o'clock on the dot, Dean has been calling. He's been following through. He hasn't missed a day. He's been very consistent. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate that Dean has been keeping his word. We've been talking, and let me tell you, our conversation, yes, I know it's only been 3.5 weeks. I understand if some of you are skeptical and are thinking or are commenting, yes, you guys just met, yes, everything's great at the beginning. Right, that is true, but I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 20, and everything that you see about me is who I am. There's nothing fake about me. I don't pretend to be someone that I'm not. So when Dean and I, we've had these conversations, we've been talking about real stuff. We've been talking about life and health insurance and leaky roofs and, our kids and how to, about cars, my old car, and about debt. So we have been talking about real life things. We've been talking about our parents and how they're getting older. His parents have been gone for a while, and this is why in a lot of videos, I'm sure that I've mentioned my parents. I still have both my parents. Yes, I just told you that they had their anniversary, of course. I'm really tired. I'm gonna stop and get some coffee before I meet Craig. But anyway, and if I sound like I'm rambling, moving my son and being excited and getting up early, staying up late, getting up early has been so wonderful, but I am tired. And then getting up early to meet Clay, not early, but I wasn't wearing makeup, but I did brush my hair and brush my teeth. So anyway, Dean and I, we've been talking about real shit. We've been talking about life and how messy it is, and not a lot about our pasts, not where we are bad-mouthing our exes. That is history, and I made it very clear, you know what? My ex-husband is the father of my kids, and for him, I'm grateful for my children. So we're not going to discuss that. Things did not work out. The past is history, and your ex, I don't know her. There's always two sides to every story. Don't badmouth her. She's the mother. She's the mother of your daughter. So leave it at that. We've been hurt. We've gone through some crappy things, situations, lots of challenges, but here we are. And so I appreciate his honesty. And I really like that he wants to meet immediately. Yes, it's only been 3.5 weeks, but some guys who live in Austin with whom I've connected over the years, they want to keep texting me on the app for months at a time, and I'm thinking, you know what? No, that's not going to happen. If you want to meet me, I want to meet for coffee, 30 minutes, make it quick, make it painless, and see if we like each other. And if we do, we can have a proper date. So Dean and I are meeting again. We are meeting tomorrow for coffee, brunch. I'm excited. I am so excited. I hope you all are saying yes to the dates. And I've also decided that I'm not stopping on only the dating, how I'm going to meet other people, because I just never know who I'm going to meet if I put myself out. My son is who reminded me to do this. He says, Mom, you had joined a photography club. Then my sister hurt herself and you never attended a meeting. I said, oh, right, I forgot. And he says, you carry your camera everywhere you go. Every day the camera's in your car. You take it out, we take pictures, blah, 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 but you're not consistent. Join a photography club. It's what you love. It's one of your hobbies. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. Then he says, Mom, why don't you go to the library? And I said, the library? He says, you're at the library checking out 10 books at a time. Why don't you go to the library and sit there and make it a point to go every weekend for people to see you? And other folks, men who love to read and enjoy the library ambience, will notice you. If you're consistent and you go to the library at the same time, you're going to meet someone. And I said, son, you're so right. He says, you enjoy reading. Instead of reading by yourself every weekend, go to the library and see who you're going to meet. Drink some coffee. While you sit there a couple of hours, you never know. And I thought, oh my God, that's a great idea. Then my daughter, who is very opposed to dating apps. She is so opposed. She and I, we've never discussed dating apps. When it has slipped that I am going to meet someone for coffee or lunch or dinner on a dating app, she says, Mom, I've told you for years, stay off those apps. It's not going to work. That's bullshit. You never meet somebody that's true. They're all scammers. So she is quite opposed to dating apps. But my son is the opposite. Anyway, she says, Mom, my friends and I are going to take a sewing class, and we want to learn to sew and fix our clothes or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. Then, piggybacking on my son's idea to join the photography club and go to the library, I thought, what if I also go to a sewing class? Maybe some single men need to mend their clothes as well, right? Yeah, so I thought, I won't tell my daughter about it, but I'm going to find a sewing club maybe, or a sewing class, and try it out. I bought my daughter a sewing machine when she was in 1st or 2nd grade that we attempted to use maybe twice. Something happened and we were both disinterested. I guess she was no longer interested. Anyway, I've had that little sewing machine on the shelf in my office, and I see it. I walk by it almost daily, and I think, I need to bring out that sewing machine. But going to photography, library, and sewing classes, maybe. The only sewing I've ever done is with a needle, and that's been to hem or or something, but I think sewing would be cool. Anyway, you guys, I still have about, I don't know, 100 miles left to go. Oh no, not 100 miles. I've got less than that to Temple. That's where I'm meeting Craig for dinner. Geez, I need something because I'm getting really tired driving. I hope you all are doing great. Say yes to the dates. You just never know. Even if this person is not ideally who you want or who you think you might want, or guys, what I've learned is that someone's profile photo might be one of two things. They might look exactly like their photo, which is a good thing because they can't lie to you and say, oh, I'm 50 when, you know, their photo clearly is of a 70-year-old. Once you meet somebody in person, you'll know. You'll know the first 30 seconds whether you want to stay longer than 30 minutes or whether you want to leave within 5. You'll know because it's happened to me. You'll know. You'll know whether you want a second date or whether you'll consider this. Sometimes the photos on their bio are awful, and when you meet them, you think, wow. I've told several men over the years, your photos do you no justice. You look so much better in person, and because it's been the truth. So that's my story. I'm excited. My son is back in Denton. He will be starting a new semester. I can't believe this is his 4th year, starting his 4th year already. I'm so proud of him and excited. We had a great summer together, a fantastic summer, probably one of our best. And now it's time for mom to work on mom. So I'm going to enjoy meeting these gentlemen. I'm going to enjoy, sorry, I'm slouching. I'm going to enjoy this adult conversation, and I'm going to enjoy myself. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know in the comments. You can also reach out to me at Ver Que Pasa in life @gmail.com. Don't be shy. I'd love to hear from you, especially those of you ladies that in the past have made comments and we've had interaction. Please send me an update. I'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned. A Ver Que Pasa tonight with Craig and tomorrow with Dean. I will keep you posted. Stay tuned for more fun adventures. Love you guys. Bye.